Hi friends! Welcome to Cracked with Siobhan Eris. Today, I'm chatting with Erin Murdock of Snip Glass. Her broad and deep understanding of glass technique is in one word, legit. A reflection of her extensive formal education under some of the greatest glass teachers at some of the greatest glass education centers. She's earned herself some serious clout with her awards, grants, and recognition. Her skill shows in every piece she makes, whether it be one of her own impressive designs or her fan art. An avid fan of The Simpsons, she's creating a collection dedicated to honoring the TV show. But make no mistake, this isn't your run-of-the-mill tchotchke merch. Her technical problem solving and attention to detail shines through in everything that comes out of her studio. One thing I really love about Erin is her passion for sharing her knowledge and her goals for doing just that in a huge way. She's going to accomplish wonderful things, and I'm excited to chat with her all about it. And prepare for some extra giggling from both of us today. I had so much fun with Erin doing this interview. Join me as I crack it all wide open. Hello, Erin.
Hi.
That's my soft. Hello, Erin. That's my soft intro. Usually I'm like, hey, how's it going? How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's a little overcast, but also I moved to Virginia and it's 80 degrees and humid in October, and that is not my usual October. So I'm trying to adjust, but other than that, I'm good.
I didn't know you moved. When did you move?
Yeah, I moved out of Philadelphia like New Year's, January 2nd, 2021.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. Do you like it besides the weather?
I do, yeah, it's good. I needed more space for my studio. And in Philadelphia, if I stayed, it would have been I would have had to have it somewhere not in my home, and it would be like dual rent and all this stuff. So we found a place, like a single family home, and the garage was already converted to a workshop, which was like a dream. And like we have water access to drop in our kayaks half a block away. So I was like, I can deal with like 80-degree October. I'm not going to complain.
For sure.
It's fine. Yeah.
And who is we?
Oh, my partner, Jordan, and my cat, Sunday, if I'm going to do we.
Yes.
We all live here.
Hey, the cats and the dogs can be life partners as well in big ways.
For sure. But yeah, my partner, Jordan, and I moved down here in January. So
how did you pick Virginia?
His brother's in the Navy, and there's like a big Navy town down here. We're right next to Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
Norfolk. I don't say it correctly. But I basically told him I would live anywhere. I'm very easygoing when it comes to just trying new place. I moved to Philly without ever visiting it, and I stayed there for 7 years. So I was like, I'm ready for change. You can pick. I just need space, and like needs to fit in like a reasonable budget. So we're in Virginia. Yeah. And there's are you familiar with the Chrysler Museum of Art by chance?
No.
It's a nice museum over here in Norfolk, and they have a whole glass blowing studio and glass classes, and we had friends that were working there. So it kind of checked the glass boxes, the family, the house, the nature. So yeah, that's where we are.
That's great. I mean, I don't know if I know I've spoken about this in the podcast, but I just moved recently, and I'm super like, you know what, let's just go. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And then you can make another decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. I
think that's like something nice is like selling 99% of my things online. I can kind of live where I can get to a post office.
Right.
So that is definitely taking advantage of that mobility aspect of it. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Where's mine?
She said, where's hers?
I'll have it postmated over.
Postmate. It's on its way.
Oh, thank you.
He's the best. So in preparation, I was looking at your website. Mm-hmm. I want to read your bio because you have a very formal education and I do not. So I'm very impressed with people who do. So It says Erin Murdock received her BFA in Craft and Material Studies with a concentration in glass from the University of the Arts in 2016. Her interest in stained glass was first made possible through Judith Schaechter, whom she studied under at University of the Arts. In the summer of 2017, Murdock was a teaching assistant for Cappy Thompson and Dick Weiss high test paint and lead class at Pilchuck Glass School in Stanwood, Washington. We're going to circle back and talk about that because that place is really cool.
Yeah, it's magical.
She has received a number of awards, including a general student scholarship from the Glass Arts Society, and in the summer of 2015 received a grant from the Art Alliance for Contemporary Glass to study glass casting with Dan Clayman at Haystack Mountain School of Crafts in Deer Isle, Maine.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, her work was awarded a gallery pick by Wexler Gallery at the University of the Arts Unleashed Scholarship Fundraiser. Murdock's current focus behind the scenes is to make stained glass education more accessible. She is working on securing and establishing a stained glass education center within the next 10 years. The school would teach everything from traditional stained glass and restoration to modern techniques and advanced kiln working. Her goal is to be well-funded enough to provide annual full scholarship to POC, people of color, for our listeners who don't know what that stands for, and underprivileged youth. If you are interested in helping her with this goal, please reach out at snipglass@gmail.com. Now, there's a lot to talk about here. First of all, congratulations on all of these glowing things, wonderful shining awards that you got. Tell me about your experience with the Pilchuck Glass School.
Man, I don't even know where to. I love Pilchuck Glass School so much. I had learned about it when I was attending University of the Arts. I didn't know it existed. It's kind of like this enigma of a glass school. Like, I feel like it's like, unless you know craft world and craft schools and glass, maybe you would know about it. But that's why I really hope, like, I know they're trying to change that and have more people know about this school. But it's tucked away on a tree farm in the mountains in Stanwood, Washington. It's about like an hour and change north of Seattle. Mm-hmm. I first went there. I applied as a teaching assistant for, like I said, Cappy Thompson and Dick Weiss, who are two incredible stained glass artists. And I was lucky enough to be selected. And so I had never been there. Their studios were amazing. Facilities were amazing, like hiking and just peaceful, not that much service, just like evergreens. I don't know. And then the community. And then it's like you meet everyone else who is just so in love with glass in so many different ways, whether it's glass blowing, stained glass, kiln working, flame working, cold working, like it's just everybody. So I knew after the first year that I was there that I had to make this a regular thing. So I think then the year after that, I applied as a volunteer staff and I went back and I worked in the kitchen, which is also fun. That's how I met my partner, Jordan. We met at Pilchuck Glass School. And then the year after that, I went back as like the librarian, which is really fun. And I got to look through all the glass collection books and craft books and just be a part of the campus in a way that was different than a teaching assistant. But then 2020, you know, everything happened. We don't have to get into that. I was supposed to be there the whole season as a full-time staff. So it's okay. Well, not full-time, but like there for the whole season. But I'll get back there. I do think about it and like photos pop up on my memories or whatever. And I get this feeling. And like I said, we moved to where we are in Virginia is the Chrysler. And the reason I know people that work there is because I met them at Pilchuck. So it's really nice community-wise that I've also been able to travel across the country and like stay with people or meet up with people that I've met through this glass school. So man, I could do like a whole thing about Pilchuck.
Yeah. It does seem like this like magical castle in the sky, because I lived in Portland, right? So I was in the Pacific Northwest, and that's how I know about it, is just through the glass people there. And it does seem pretty magical.
It's great. I highly encourage everyone to apply to go there, whether I really want to go as a student sometimes. I've never been as a student. My goal is to go there and kind of just take time to make work that I don't have to think about or worry about selling. It's like a whole other realm of topic too. But
Yes.
I would really like to participate at Pilchuck as a student sometime as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everybody, if you have the chance to go and do it, please do.
Yeah,
I can't encourage it enough.
That's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else was in here that I really wanted to ask you about? Okay, your current focus. Securing and establishing a stained glass education center within the next 10 years.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Well, so far I have that paragraph.
Okay, all right, it's a start. Yeah.
And I have, so part of the blueprint of the stained glass school I want is based on the craft schools that I've been to, like Pilchuck and Haystack. I haven't been to Penland yet, but I'm hoping to get there one day. But it's basically the same kind of concept where it's like a campus and there's cabins and there's long-term or like long programs, short programs, but I want it to be in a beautiful place. I want it to be all about stained glass. Like, I know it could be like a glass school, but something I noticed about stained glass education is you can, like, I was fortunate enough, I went to school for glass, and then Judith Schaechter taught at the school I went to, and that's how I was introduced to stained glass. But it's definitely not like that for everybody. Usually people are taught by like a family member. It's like generationally passed down, which I think is beautiful in a sense too. But if not, then maybe they take a workshop at their local community center, or they learn from YouTube. But I don't know, there could be, I don't know of just a place where everything is taught in one when it comes to stained glass, and there's like an actual location for people to go and meet other stained glass people and just learn about the craft, the history of it, how to preserve it, really important too, like keeping all these beautiful windows intact for the next hundreds of thousands, years.
Yes, yes.
So my dream is to also just expand this education too, because it's not accessible to everybody. Stained glass as a craft is very expensive, and it's not easy to just jump right into. And like, you could get some tools off Craigslist or Facebook or secondhand, but I also want people to be able to learn it without worrying about putting money into it, and also I want people to learn it so then maybe they do realize they like it, and now they can start fulfilling their own like career off of this craft too, Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I have to really buckle down and like figure it out, but I'm giving myself, I'll be 30 in February. So I told myself at the time I'm 40, I would like to see this place exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's a realistic timeline.
I totally think it is. And I also want to say that like any way that I can be of service to this dream, I want to be. I would love to be involved at some point in this 10-year plan. And for our listeners, again, her email address is snipglass@gmail.com. If you have any ideas, if you have ways you can help, or just any way that you can contribute, we all want that. And I would love to see you at the helm of it. I would love to help you facilitate that in any way possible. So
thanks. Yeah, I'm looking forward to, I'm sure we'll be in touch again about it. I'll probably be asking you to come teach a class. Like, that's what my goal is too. All these connections I've made through social media, and so many talented and creative people I know have just as well, like have a huge wealth of knowledge so that they can share with other people. And I would love to get people in to teach.
Yes. I'd
love
love to
so many ideas.
Yeah,
like
I want to hear more. I want to.
Like,
yes.
I don't know. Just even like really specific, or like I'd love to teach like an advanced level of stained glass class too. Like I've taught a lot of beginner, and I don't mind teaching it, and I love seeing people make their first stained glass windows. It's so wholesome. It's very sweet, and I just would also love to be in a space and with people who've been doing it for quite a while and like really nerd out about technique and like pushing the boundaries of stained glass and,
Yes.
sorry, again,
I know. Did you listen to Ted Ellison's episode? It just
I
came
haven't,
out.
I haven't
Okay.
gotten to it yet. Yeah.
His knowledge of like structurally how things work is
Mhm.
pretty advanced. He does a lot of things that are sort of like tricky structurally, and he's actually about to teach a advanced stained glass leaded class. He's in Oakland,
I
but
saw that.
yeah,
I considered flying out to see
me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In 10 years, maybe he could come teach us, the advanced techniques.
Mhm.
I saw recently actually on your Instagram that you did like a little partnership with SGAA.
I did, yeah. So one of the things that I realized with getting this education thing off the ground was just like talking to more people within the industry, whether it be organizations. And I became an SGA member in 2019. I attended the conference in San Antonio.
Mm.
It was Judith asked me if I wanted to go, and I was like, yeah, like sure. I've never heard of this before. It was really cool. It was really fun. I like got to meet other people, like really talented glass painters and glaziers. I got to learn how they 3D print like the stone on the outside of churches that houses the stained glass. Like there was a lot of like elements to the craft that were out of my knowledge because I'm mostly sun catchers and large panels, for residential, but I want to get more experience with larger works. I just want to know everything. Like I really do. But when I was there, I did briefly meet Megan, who is the oh my God, executive director.
Executive,
Yes.
yeah. How much
I
do
was
you
like,
love Megan?
she's very kind. I really like Megan. She's a sweet soul. So she actually personally reached out to me before this whole SGA thing. And she was like, hey, Erin, your name came up in a meeting or something. I wanted to ask you about your stained glass goals. And I was like, wow, this is really sweet. So I told her about the education thing. And she's like, wow, we have a lot of the same views. And we did like a Zoom meeting. We chatted for about an hour or so. And it was really great. And I told her, I was like, I want to get more people involved in SGAA because when I did go to the conference, I noticed a pretty big age gap in the members of SGAA. And I feel like having more young people or fresh, newer people in stained glass, like really merging the different from like manufacturers and industrial restoration to DIY and hobbyists, like we all love the same thing. We all do the same thing. And I think there's a way to like all to come together more as a community there. So I was hoping with the giveaway to just expose SGAA to more people, which I think it did. And hopefully people will either become a member or sign up for some reading material. I love the magazines. I don't know if you get them or if you've seen one, but
yeah, I'm a member.
Yeah.
I just spoke with Megan and just met her, and I asked her to be on the podcast.
Oh, that's incredible. I can't
Yeah.
wait for that.
She is just like, I don't know if this is, I call it like the old guard and the new guard, because there's like this like huge gap, between like these different categories of people that are like interested in stained glass. And we need to like close that gap because there's a lot that they know that we need to learn. And there's a lot that we're doing that they should take notes from as well.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a passion of Megan's. And also she's just like so knowledgeable about the history of SGAA, and like the SGAA has been doing like insane things for our craft behind the scenes in
Yeah.
terms of laws and protection of things. And yeah, anyway, I'm sure I'll ask her all those questions when she's on, but she educated me a lot. And I think too that there's this sort of like stigma around stained glass to a lot of people where it's just like it's a bunch of old white ninnies that are like, sitting around a knitting circle talking about stained glass, and it's not. And Megan is really like a good voice with that, I think, because she's so like woke, you know, like she
Yeah.
gets it. She totally gets it. And she celebrates all sides of it. And so, anyway, I was just really excited when I saw that post that you were doing that little partnership with them, because I was like, yes, because especially too, talking about a lot of people and how they learn generationally, and how you
Mhm.
have this more formal education. I learned from my mother-in-law, but
Mhm.
when you are learning from your uncle or something, like there's ways that they're just like, well, this is what works for me, right? Like this is
Mhm.
how I
Yeah.
do it. But there's some things that I've seen, and I know that there's some things that I spoke with this about Hannah Hastings. Like there's some gaps missing in what people are doing sometimes, that we want to keep people safe. Like there's a lot of safety stuff in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
SGA, or the SGC, SGQ, the quarterly magazine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Safety is a big thing that I feel like isn't really talked about, especially when people pick up the hobby, just
Mhm.
like, at home.
Yeah.
Besides glass just being sharp, a lot of the chemicals and fumes and dust and all of that is like not good. And I feel like there is safety information out there, but it's not as direct and accessible,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I'm hoping that would be like whole course, stained glass safety
Yeah.
education.
Yeah. Yeah. I was lucky. My mother-in-law is like super strict about safety. So it was kind of drilled into me very early on, like all of
Mhm.
the categories that you really have to, like all the boxes you have to check off. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, we gotta, there is this like explosion of stained glass artists, and that is amazing.
it's
But
incredible.
we need
Yeah.
to make sure that everybody is like taking care of themselves along the way.
I sometimes if people aren't wearing safety glasses, I'll send a little kind message and I'm like, hey, please wear safety glasses. I care about your eyes so much. Like
Yes.
when I step into my studio, I put on glasses and I don't take them off until I finish washing my hands. I'm really just that particular about. I think also it has to do with learning and going to school for glass. Like safety was talked about every single class every day,
Yeah.
like signs posted, safety protection wear everywhere. Like
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to like have that knowledge, like,
Hmm.
instilled in me, but I try really hard to,
Yes,
help
yes,
people.
people. I don't want to see any more process videos on Instagram of you fluxing with no gloves on. I can't. I cannot take that on anymore.
Yeah.
For your gloves.
Mhm.
Um. Well, anyway, that's the conclusion of the auntie,
Yeah.
the stressed out auntie portion of this interview. Um. So The Simpsons. I love some good fan art, and yours is definitely up there. When did you form such a strong bond with The Simpsons?
I guess just when I was young, like young, my mom and dad, my family really liked The Simpsons.
Mhm.
I was lucky enough to grow up in a family that let the kids watch The Simpsons because I grew up with people whose parents didn't let them watch it.
I'm raising my hand. I wasn't
Yeah.
allowed to watch The Simpsons when I was growing up.
Oh,
It
I'm
was
so sorry.
too it was too, I don't know. What's
I
the
don't
word
know.
I'm even looking for?
I don't know what the word. I know what you're talking.
Yeah.
I'm blanking.
Risque. Risque is the word I'm trying to look for.
Sure.
It was like
Yeah.
risque. It was
Yeah.
a lot of like off-color humor in there. My
Yeah.
parents were really strict. But anyway, go on. Tell me your story.
Yeah, no, I think it stems from just like pure nostalgia. I feel like I just use that word over and over again, but it's just a part of my life. It always has been. It's always
Yeah.
been there. Like I remember being in like middle school and making Shrinky Dinks keychains of the Simpsons and stuff. I had like a how to draw a Simpsons book. I bought it like a Scholastic book fair. I've like always owned some type of Simpson apparel or like home decor. Like it's always
Yeah.
been there. And
Yeah.
then it wasn't until I graduated, and I think it was like 2016, and I was like, I could try to make Simpsons out of stained glass, I guess. Like it'll be kind of difficult. Like they have these weird shapes and weird cuts.
Hmm.
And then just didn't stop from there. I was like, for me, uh making the Simpsons out of glass is like the best type of problem solving. And I love problem solving so much. And that's how I see these pieces and like a big reason of why I make them.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of memorabilia and like merch, Simpsons merch at your house?
I have like, I'm like looking around. I definitely have enough. Not so much that it's overwhelming. When I lived in Philly, I had a like a 1-bedroom apartment. It was definitely in every, like you could turn your head and see something Simpsons anywhere you looked, but it was scattered between, like other brightly colored things and floral patterns. Like,
Yes.
but I do appreciate a good like vintage Simpsons item if I find it at the flea market. My mom will sometimes see things and buy it for me, which is sweet. But I wouldn't say I'm as heavy in the Simpsons merchandise as like some people I follow on Instagram, which have crazy collections that are really cool.
Yes.
Like this dude Bart of Darkness, he's really cool. He does the Simpsons is Greater Than podcast that I was on, but his collection is so cool. Yeah, I wouldn't say I have too many things, just enough,
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So I'm 42 and you're 30. So that's a pretty big, I mean, in terms of like, pop culture, it could be kind of a bigger age gap.
Mhm.
What age group do you think appreciates or buys your Simpsons work the most?
I've actually thought about this before. It's definitely probably people more around my age, probably between the ages of like maybe the youngest being like 25, 26 to like maybe 35, 40. Like, I think it is the generation that did grow up with it, because when I've taught stained glass, I've taught for like high school students, and I guess they're Gen Z or whatever. And I've talked about The Simpsons, just showed them, and they just don't have the same feelings towards the show because they grew up with different seasons, or they maybe haven't seen the earlier ones. It just is I feel like a generational thing.
Yeah.
But I also think it's people, like I said, between the ages of maybe like mid-20s to like late 30s, who are like me, who have like homes now, and they're like, I want cool home decor, and I want something that's unique and one of a kind, but also like reminds me of like my childhood in a way, or this really iconic pop culture TV show. Like,
Yeah.
I love funky home decor myself. So I think that's where it kind of falls into,
Yeah. Well, the colors are, I mean, it is such like a fun, bright, happy pop of color, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
Speaking of the colors, I read that the character's distinctive yellow hue was chosen in part to make the show stand out for somebody when they're flipping through the channels.
Oh, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I know, and I'm not, maybe if you can educate us on this just a little bit, but I know that the colors specifically that they chose for The Simpsons, there was a lot of intention and thought put into the hues and the variety, and it was very specific why they chose the colors that they chose in terms of like the psychology of it all. Do you know anything about that?
I wish I could say I knew a lot more about that. I do think when looking at the palette of The Simpsons, like stopping and taking a screenshot, they understand color theory very well. Like, definitely. Especially when it comes to like complementary colors or bright saturated color. Like, I've talked about it before. My favorite room in their house is the kitchen, because there's so many colors in there, green, purple, blue. I wish I had more knowledge
Yes.
for you about why they chose the specific ones. I also feel like it comes with that time of cartoon making, because I just have memories of the cartoons of that time being really vivid anyway.
Yeah.
Even past The Simpsons. But yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely look into them more.
Yeah, me too. I'm gonna Google it as soon as we get off of our call. I see you make a lot of Lisa pieces. Is she your favorite character?
She's definitely one of my favorite characters. I probably, because I feel like if I were a Simpsons character, I'd be more like Lisa.
Yeah.
I've realized the character I've made the most though is Milhouse, which is funny because I wouldn't say he's my favorite character. And now this just gets to like a technical thing, but he is like drawn in a way that makes glass the easiest to use to like cut and make him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because for characters like Maggie and Lisa, their hair has those really deep V's in the glass, and glass doesn't really like deep V cuts. It is prone to cracking right there. So if I make one of those pieces, just know I don't breathe until it's been delivered at the person's house. Like I literally so gentle, especially when cleaning and polishing. But I do like making the Lisa pieces because usually they're made, I'm trying to think of which, I made the one Lisa, it's like the whole damn system is wrong, like that piece that was a commission last year. Yeah, I don't know, it's just playing around.
Yeah.
Really.
When you're cutting those Maggie and Lisa pieces with the hair, do you use your ring saw?
I do. Yeah. I even have I think this is why I like making them, is it's like I said, problem solving. Because cutting them and grinding them, I do it in a very different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know where the pressure point's going to be. So I have my saw set up right next to my grinder. So I go back and forth between the two, because when I first learned, if I cut the whole thing on the saw and then I ground it, sometimes it would snap off pieces in other places. So I really like certain pieces, usually a Maggie or a Lisa face is one whole piece of glass, like one whole piece of yellow. And it can take me somewhere between 45 minutes to cut out one piece, from cutting on the saw to grinding. And that's just the first one. And if I don't like how it looks, then I'll do it again. It definitely is a lot of work involved in these, but something I realized, if I want to translate this character, I have to do it the best that I can, because I just respect the cartoon and the drawing and the animation so much that I really just want to do my best and making it look as close as possible.
Yes. Where are you getting your glass to match these colors?
I do order a lot of my glass from Anything in Stained Glass. And specifically I get the Oceanside Spectrum, the 96, the opaque ones. Those I've found to be pretty saturated and work well for the pieces. I also just have a lot of glass in stock from I'm sure you do too. People have just given you glass, maybe. I feel like that's a big thing that happens for people that stay in glass. They're like, I know somebody getting rid of glass, or I've had to stop saying yes because I've just had so much glass. But yeah, I use a lot of the Oceanside. I think it's the yellow opal, if I had to be specific. I order at least 5 to 6 square 12 by 12 sheets per order just to have it in stock.
Yeah.
But that's why I also like playing with, I do the Millhouse piece, but I make in blue, right? And I like playing with the colors of the Simpsons and skewing them a little bit to maybe see it in a different way that you've never seen it before,
Yeah. I like that. I had a question on Instagram.
Sure.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Let's see here. I took a screen grab of it so it'd be easy to find, and now I can't find it. Okay. Let's see. Ocular glass. They wanted to know the method paint you use for your details, the eyes, the ears, etc. They are so crisp. What is the method and what is the paint?
Ooh, okay. Well, I was using, I think it's called the Pebeo Vitrea glass paint. I think Pebeo. And it is comes in a little jar, and it's kind of hard to work with. You have to get what's it called, a thinner with it. They make their own brand because it's pretty thick, and I use that. And you can bake it in a conventional oven.
Okay.
I think it's 45 minutes at 375, and you have to put the glass in first when it's cold so it comes up to temperature, and then you have to let it come back to temperature. But now I have a kiln, which is pretty fun. And I use a Reusche glass paint, which is traditional glass painting glass. It's a mixture of lead and silica and other materials, and it comes as a powder. And then you add the water or your oil or whatever your mixture is, and you paint with that. But I have one more thing to say about this.
Okay.
I don't use a lot of paint. A lot of my details are wire. like a lot of lines on my pieces, or if it looks really crispy, it's probably a patinaed piece of wire.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I get those crispy lines.
Okay. I love a good crispy line.
Yeah.
This is great. And I will include links to these products in my show notes. So make sure to check those out if you're curious and you want to know more. Okay. So I put together a Simpsons pop quiz for you.
Oh gosh.
Yes. Okay. Are you okay? Are you okay with this? Can we do this? I don't want to
Yes.
put you on the spot. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. First question.
Oh gosh.
I wish I could like lower the lights in your frame and like just put like a
Like Who
spotlight
Wants to
on
Be a
you right now.
Millionaire
Yes.
style. Like
Yes.
dun dun
Yes.
dun. Oh my
Uh-huh.
God.
What is Bart Simpson's full name?
Okay. Well, it's Bartholomew J. Simpson, but the J stands for JoJo.
Yeah.
That was a nerdy one. I definitely I did.
Good job. Okay. She's coming in hot, folks.
Okay.
What religion does Lisa convert to in season 13?
I'm pretty sure it's Buddhism.
Yes, it is. Dang, girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Third
Yeah.
question. An episode during the 4th season featured guest star Elizabeth Taylor voicing a single word, Maggie's first word, spoken during a flashback. What was Maggie's first word?
Oh my gosh. Daddy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's what I thought. I was either gonna say daddy or dough, but I was like, I'm pretty sure it was daddy. Yeah. Or Dada,
It was
daddy.
daddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that was like they used that to like hype the episode a lot.
Yeah.
Like, what is Maggie's first word gonna be? And then it was just daddy. And I always thought it was weird that it was Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah. You started saying that. It was like very interesting.
Yeah. Okay, number 4. During a speech in 1992, then President George W. Bush said, "We are going to keep on trying to make American families a lot more like the blank and a lot less like the Simpsons." I know, this is a tough one.
Okay, can I ask for a hint? Is it another cartoon? Or is it?
No, but it is from a TV show.
Yeah, I want to say like the Brady Bunch or something, or
Very
like
close. Very
the
close.
Partridge Family, or like
We're
something.
getting hot. It's the Waltons.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That was close.
Very close.
Okay.
The show earned which actress guest star a Primetime Emmy for outstanding voiceover performance?
Well, I know they won a lot of Emmys for voiceover. Can you read it again? Sorry.
Yeah. The show earned which actress guest star
Yes.
a Primetime Emmy for outstanding voiceover performance? This is, I'm sorry, this is a hard one too. This is also one where I was like, huh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably like a newer actress. Maybe it was from like a newer season or something. I don't know. Go for it.
Should I tell you?
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway.
Oh, okay.
I know.
There you go.
See, it falls into
I'm
that.
trying to see who she played. So that would probably be a later season, which isn't to say I haven't seen the episode because I still keep up with all the new ones, but I'm not as well versed in the later seasons.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. You're still doing great. Who is Lisa's first boyfriend and also her schoolmate?
Nelson?
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And the crowd goes wild. Okay. What sports team is part of the jury when Homer is on trial for eating the forbidden donut?
I know this because I remember watching the episode and I lived in the city, but it's the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yes.
And I always thought that was funny.
Good job.
Thanks.
Okay, true or false?
Oh.
The University of California, Berkeley has offered a 4-credit course on The Simpsons.
True.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yes. Very true. Very cool.
Very true. Very cool.
Veteran actor Hank Azaria supplies the voice for 16 reoccurring characters. Can you name 3?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I have a hint.
Okay.
One of them he recently apologized for.
Oh. Well, I think Apu.
Yep.
Yeah. He does a lot of voices.
He does a lot of voices, so I honestly could probably just start naming characters. And
I know. This is so. Lionel Hutz, maybe?
I'm shaking my head now. I'm shaking my head now. No.
Are we still on this question?
See, that's the problem with like trivia, is that like it's so random. I mean, you can't know everything. Dude, you knew about the Philadelphia Flyers. We all know that you're like on top of this.
Fluff Man?
Yes.
Okay. It's like coming to me now.
See, I didn't even have to tell you.
I mean, I feel like I've read this list before, or I've like seen his face next to a bunch of characters and they're like flashing in my brain.
Yes.
But
this is hard. This is the hard one. Do you want me to read you the list?
No, now I'm like determined.
Okay.
But now I also feel like I'm like stalling.
No, I'm going to be asking you a super serious question later on, and you're going to like burst out with like a name.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. Mo.
Okay, of course. Yeah.
Comic book guy. Carl Carlson. Cletus Spuckler?
Oh, that's like the hillbilly guy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Professor Frink. Dr. Nick Riviera. Lou.
Okay.
Snake Jailbird. Kirk Van Houten. The Sea Captain. Superintendent Chalmers. Disco Stew. Duffman. The Wise Guy. I don't know who the Wise Guy is either. That's like an extra in like one episode. Which one of these future events was predicted on the show and later came true? A. Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack. B. The Three-Eyed Fish. Or C. The Donald Trump presidency.
This is a trick question because all of those things.
Yeah!
I got this one.
Okay.
All of those things, yeah.
All of those things. And then I have like a little blurb about all of them. Siegfried and Roy Tiger Attack, Season 5, Episode 10. Mr. Burns decided to build a casino in Springfield with Vegas references abounding. One came from Gunter and Ernst, a clear Siegfried and Roy analog, whose act ends in tragedy when their white tiger, Anastasia, attacks them. Through this one is a bit more understandable given the dangers of working with wild animals. Roy Horn was also attacked 10 years after the episode aired. And then the Three-Eyed Fish. I thought this was super interesting. I did not know this. Season 2, Episode 4, 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish is what the episode is called. Blinky is a three-eyed fish that has been used by major news publications, linked to commentary on nuclear waste and mutation. But those messages turned sentient in 2011 when fishermen caught a three-eyed wolffish in a reservoir that feeds near a nuclear plant in Argentina. That is so crazy. And then the third one is the Donald Trump presidency, Season 11, Episode 17, Bart to the Future. This is the most widely circulated prediction. The second time the Simpsons took a peek into the future, Lisa has become president of the United States. In a cabinet meeting, she offhandedly mentions, "We inherited quite the budget crunch from President Trump." It initially was a reference to Trump attempting a run as the Reform Party candidate, but the words gained much more validity when Trump was elected president in 2016. The week after the election, the reoccurring chalkboard gag even read, "Being right sucks." Okay, last 2 questions. Now, I think by the time your episode airs, Halloween will have passed.
Okay.
But at the time of recording, we are pre-Halloween, and I am in a Halloween state of mind. So these are Halloween-centric. In a Treehouse of Horror episode, what was the name of Kang and Kodo's dusty book about humans?
It is How to Cook for 40 Humans.
Yes. Good job. What is the only season not to air a Treehouse of Horror episode?
Well, if you're a Simpsons fan, you know that season 1 did not have it. So when you look at the number of the Simpsons Treehouse episodes, it doesn't match up with the season number. If that makes sense.
Yes.
It's always one off. So that's how you can kind of tell what season it's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're an expert. Thank you for that. That was super fun for me to put
Yeah.
together that little quiz.
Thanks for that. I'm sweating.
I know. I was for you. Shoot. I don't know anything. I mean, that was all just, huge disclaimer. I didn't know any of those answers. I for sure was like, as I was putting it together, I was like, am I being cruel right now? Because I know that some of these are pretty tricky. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me that I need to brush up on something.
No, it's impossible though to brush up on all of it. It's like so much.
Yeah.
Let's get into like the technical, some more technical things here a little bit. Do you have a favorite step of the process of stained glass?
I think it's a tie between cutting glass and soldering. I'd say. If anything too, I'd add in, well, I do both process. I do leading and copper foil, like both techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And these days I definitely like leading a lot more than copper foil. It is so relaxing and like satisfying to get your lead joints meeting up just right. And you always have a crisp, clean, straight line. Like there's no room for error with like grinding and foiling and doing straight lines,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, I could spend hours cutting glass. I really like cutting glass.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have a least favorite step?
Grinding glass. My gosh, I hate grinding. I like sometimes pieces are put on hold because I get to the grinding point and I just like do everything else possibly can in my life except grind the pieces of glass waiting for me. I think it's just everything from the feeling of like glass on my skin to like the noise. I mean, I wear headphones or I listen to music or I get a little herbal influence to help me through it. But it's just, yeah, definitely my least favorite part. I mean, obviously it's the most satisfying because then everything fits together really nicely and it's clean, but every once in a while you'll forget that you didn't grind an edge and then you're like stabbed yourself or sliced yourself from pushing against it. It's just like, I don't know, least favorite, definitely. Grinding.
Yeah. I think that's the step that I cut myself the most on, actually. It's like holding the glass against the grinder and cutting myself on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Like tiny, like nothing major, but I'm always like, God damn it. I was
Or like when those moments when you realize you didn't even know you cut yourself and you look down, there's blood somewhere and you're like, why? Like, where did that come from? Like,
yeah.
Happens a lot. I have patterns with blood on them and I didn't even know it was there. Like,
yes. Have you ever been hurt really bad?
Had like a nasty burn from a soldering iron one time. It wasn't even the iron. I was like framing a piece and I was using like 1/2-inch zinc border, and the zinc retains the heat for a long time after you've soldered the joint. I think I was either like flipping the panel or turning it, and I placed my whole forearm down right on it and it like sizzled my skin. It was good. Other than that, what was that?
Do you have a scar?
I think I do. Yeah, somewhere. I don't know if you could see it on camera, but I'm not sure. And then other times, I think one time the lead knife, I wonder if I have that one. A lead knife slipped. And lead knives can be really sharp. Like, I mean, they're supposed to be like you can cut down on the lead as you're glazing. I don't know if you can see this one, but the lead knife went shoop and just cut right into my thumb. Yeah, your face makes me not want to.
I know. I'm very expressive.
I feel like the worst are when you just make a stupid mistake and you've just like deeply sliced yourself and you're like, it's like the worst pain and regret ever. And that feeling, I don't want to talk. Okay, I'm moving on.
I know. I'll tell you mine. The worst cut I ever got was, it was again like what you just said. It's such a stupid mistake, but I was
Mhm.
wearing a sleeveless shirt and I was carrying glass like
Oh my
books in my
gosh.
arm, and so I have a slice right here.
So
So
I was
dumb. What
very
was I
dumb.
doing?
Do you know why? Also, because when I went to Pilchuck and I was learning about glazing then. I didn't know how to lead glass. I learned at Pilchuck when I was a TA. But Dick Weiss was very, very like could not express enough that you never carry a sheet of glass under your armpit because that's like where one of your main arteries is. Or I
Yes.
think, yeah.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's like if you trip or fall and that glass goes right up into your armpit, like,
You'll bleed out.
yeah, yeah, don't carry glass.
Mine's on my bicep. It's not
That's
in my
fine,
armpit, but
but
yeah.
the way that you told me you were carrying
No,
it,
I
I
know.
was
No, I
like,
had it like a book,
oh,
like how
okay.
you carry a
Yeah.
book in front of you.
But yeah, word of advice, don't carry sheets under your armpit. Like,
Oof.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
Hot tip, don't die. Okay. What glass tool can you not live without?
Well, I guess like my Toyo pistol grip glass cutter, right?
Mhm.
I need my little buddy. I've had the same one since I started glass, so it's about 7 years old. I replace the tip every now and then. I just bought a brand new one of the same kind just
Mhm.
to have on deck just in case. Um, but yeah, probably my glass cutter. And then obviously I think a soldering iron. I started out with one of those Weller ones, like it's like a robin's egg blue with like
Mhm.
that fatter half-inch tip. And then when I discovered like temperature control iron, it was a game changer. Like I feel like that knowledge is pretty out there in stained glass world now about having an iron like that, but really switching between foil and lead and zinc and just like even doing like wire details or other aspects of it, I play with that temperature for so many different reasons, and it's
Mhm.
really the best.
Can you tell us more about that? Like, what do you like it hotter when you're doing which one?
Well, I definitely use it hotter when I'm doing copper foil to get a nice solder line,
Mhm.
right? But lead melts at a much lower temperature. So you have to like turn down the iron for when you're doing joints or when you're letting the edge of a piece. And then zinc is like somewhere in the middle, but the solder will heat up faster than the zinc. So sometimes you have to like pre-warm your zinc when you're, connecting a joint from
Mhm.
the solder line to the zinc. I think it all comes with just making so many different things and trying out so many different materials that you find the right temperature for the right job, pretty much.
Yes. Yes. Do you have a favorite glass hack?
Favorite glass hack? Hmm. I'm trying to think of things that I do. Like, can you give me a example?
No.
Um,
Yes, hold on, let me think. I'm like, do I have any glass
okay,
hacks?
well,
Oh, I do. I have one.
oh,
I have a
okay,
hack.
okay.
I don't know if it's a good one, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Is that if you have glasses that are different heights, to solder the back of your piece first with your glass, uh, with
Mm-hmm.
the front of it flat on the table to kind of even it out, and then flip it over.
Yeah, that's a good one. I never did that until I saw other people doing it. I still do mine however I made it, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm also a person who the front of the piece means the texture's on the back. And I know other people like to have the texture as quote unquote the front of the piece, but I was taught in a restoration studio and from other glass people that the texture goes in the back. So that's how I do it. I think it's really just preference, but
What do you mean by texture?
like if you have like a textured piece of clear glass, right? And it has like ripples or something,
Oh,
and the
okay.
other side is flat, right? The side that you cut on. Some people put the ripples as the front of the piece. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Um, I was taught to put it in the back. I don't know. So I always have texture in the back because also when I trace my pattern, I'm tracing it as the front, right? So if you're in my, it just not confuses me more, but if you have the texture in the front and you're not, that means you have to flip your pattern piece when you trace it. So then it flips back to
Mm-hmm.
fit, you know?
That's what I do. Is I trace it on the back on the flat part because I can
Yeah.
cut it on that side, but I
Yeah.
flip the pattern over.
I also think I do that too, because sometimes when you use textured glass and you wrap the foil over it, even when you solder it, you can still sometimes see a not smooth solder line. So if I'm going for like completely smooth flat solder line, then I would just have the flat side of the glass in the front.
That's a good hack.
Yeah. Also, I don't think this is a hack. This is just like a process. I used to draw my patterns out and then trace them through a light table, like trace my pieces right onto the glass. And then I was like learning from a friend, and they cut out like kind of like stencils on cardstock for their pieces. And it does make a much nicer, tighter fit because there's not much room for error with your hand, like human error, you know?
Yeah, that's what I do. I use cardstock like this.
Yeah. I use manila folders.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a glass hack maybe. I don't know. I got like a stack of them at like a recycle place or something. And if it's not big enough, then I'll just tape them together or something like that. But yeah, I'm trying to think of other glass hacks.
That's good.
Microfiber towels. I don't know. I only use microfiber towels.
That's a good one. To do what? To clean them?
Yeah. And I have a different pile of towels. I have like the towels I use to clean off flux, the towels I use to clean off glass cleaner, and then the polishing towels, and then just a dry cloth at the end. Like so many microfiber towels. But
yeah.
I also, if we're talking about glass cleaners, I don't ever use Windex. It leaves like a film on your glass. I use Sprayway. It's like this blue and white can. I actually learned it from Lauren Sklo. I'm gonna say it wrong. Sklo. Okay. Yeah. She posted it one time and then I asked her about it and then I never went back. Like, because she uses a lot of mirror and I'm like, she has to clean the mirror. So I use that.
I just interviewed her. Her episode is coming out on Tuesday.
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
She gives a good tip for working with mirror too. So tune in for that.
Yeah.
You recently posted that you were taking a break from the studio and Instagram to reconnect with your creativity and possibly format how you're going to approach your work and how you sell. Was that break everything that you hoped for and more?
I think I know the poster referencing. So the beginning of this year, I was trying a new system where it was like a monthly pre-order, right? So every 15th of the month, and it was specifically for Simpsons pieces, but every 15th of the month, I would list a certain quantity of pre-orders, make them, and like I'd have and ship them out, right? Something like that. But it got to the point where it was just a bit too repetitive and I wasn't feeling challenged enough. And I didn't feel like I had enough room for me to experiment and play around with other designs because I was just, working and living pre-order to pre-order, which is great because a lot more people got to get Simpsons pieces because they were pretty scarce, not scarce, but like not as frequent in the other years.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where I had to be real with myself and just, I wasn't happy making them. It was like, I don't know if happy is the right word. I wasn't satisfied or like fulfilled. So I stopped the pre-order. And in that time, I have been able to just chill out and refocus what I want to be making in glass and how I want to move forward in glass. And it's been good. I feel like I still have some work to do on remembering to include mental health within my work practice.
Yeah.
I used to always take Sundays off. Like that was my day of the week to just not do glass. But then things started happening and I was like, no, I want to like do this project. So I have to work this day. And like, I just wasn't listening to myself as much as I used to when I lived in Philly. I think it was just moving to Virginia and just having all these ideas and everything. But I am about to take like a week off, which is rare. Like I haven't taken some time off. I'm doing like a little glass trip with Jordan, actually. Do you know the glass brand Yakagani?
Yes.
Yeah, they're having a warehouse sale. By the time this airs, it will pass, but they're having warehouse sale. They are like an hour outside of Pittsburgh. And I heard the sale's really good. And I just
map quest that really
Yeah.
quick. How far is it?
I was telling you too, because I was like, maybe. Well, Megan's gonna be there from SGAA, and she's bringing oh my gosh, Vitrea. What is the kiln? She's bringing a special type of kiln to show like a process of how you like drag stringers and stuff out of it.
Oh.
Why can't I think of the name of it? Gosh, I'm always blanking. But anyway, so we're gonna take a little road trip and go to the warehouse sale, and then we're gonna go up north to Corning after to go to the Corning Museum of Glass, which I'm excited about.
How fun.
Yeah. And then loop back down to Virginia, see family on the way down. But yeah, it's felt like a week.
Okay.
And I do well after a bit of traveling or getting out,
Yeah.
like I need that. I need the feeling of wanting to be back in the studio to really like give my all, bring my all,
Does Jordan do glass as well?
He does, yeah. He blows glass, and then I taught him stained glass during the pandemic, and now he's been doing stained glass too. And we talk about, having a bigger studio one day and all of that, and just he does do glass.
Have you guys collaborated yet, or is he still learning?
I don't know if we've collaborated. I collaborate in the sense of like I'll help him lead a piece or something, or like I'll help him put the hooks on or something like that. But we haven't outright collaborated on a piece yet. I'm sure it'll come one day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's his glass blowing stuff like?
All different things. So he learned to blow glass when he worked at Pilchuck. He had never even heard of Pilchuck before when he applied to work there. And then he like found this beautiful community too. So he does a lot of like hot sculpting, but he really wants to get good at making rondelles. Do you know the glass rondelles? Like, and he has like ideas and projects for like making huge ones and doing big installations with them and big windows. So
neat.
yeah.
It's really yeah, you guys are gonna need a lot of space.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to buy a ranch. That's where I see this like education center being, is like on a ranch that I buy. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, I always ask everybody what their 5 to 10-year goals are, but I think you kind of told us at the beginning of the interview. Do you have any favorite artists?
I feel like I always talk about the person I learned stained glass from, but she just needs to be known. I mean, she is known. She is. Judith Schaechter is definitely somebody who I really admire, at least in the stained glass kind of world. When it comes to like maybe like fine arts and stuff, like if I'm thinking back to that, I really like sculptures by Brâncuși. I really enjoy like the paper cutouts by Henri Mattise are really nice. I don't know, I'm inspired by a lot of people in the stained glass community too. There's so much talent out there and so many good ideas and just like amazing, sweet, kind people.
Who would you like to nominate to be on the podcast next?
I would like to nominate Colleen from Wildlight Glassworks.
Okay. You want to tell us about her work?
If you've seen it, she does make a lot of Grateful Dead kind of work, but also very nature inspired and mountains and just outdoor scenery.
Mm-hmm.
She's somebody that I've like been friends with through Instagram for a little while now, but I haven't met in person, Mm-hmm. It'd be kind of cool to see an interview and just hear more about her journey in glass and why she makes what she does,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really neat. I have all of my interviews lined up for season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So the last episode of this season now will air like towards the end of December, and then I'll take a short little break, and then we'll come back in January. So now I'm starting to book these interviews for season 2.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
That is exciting. So I would love to have her on for season 2. Well, Erin, this has been really fun. Thank you so much. And we'll keep watching.
Great. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah, anytime. All right, well, have a wonderful and productive day in the studio today. And I'll talk to you soon.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
To see more of Erin's work, her Instagram is at snipglass. That's SNIPGLASS. And mine is at Runa Glassworks. A very special thank you to the Stained Glass Association of America for their continued support of Cracked. Learn more about them at stainedglass.org. Next week's episode is with Hannah Gregory of Badass Stained Glass. She truly is one of the most badass stained glass artists out there, so check her out between now and then. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time.